The world's very first traffic light in London had an explosive end. And by that, I don't just mean figuratively. Today, traffic lights are just everyday things that tell us to slow down, or speed up, or panic, depending on if the lights just turned amber as you're approaching. But before we can get to how it all blew up, let's talk about how it all started. On the streets of Victorian London by a man named John Peake Knight, who gave the world what they didn't even really know they needed. Now, John Knight was a British railway engineer, working his way up through the ranks of South Eastern Railway and becoming a very respected signaling expert there. He's a Nottingham boy. He was born and raised there, and he started work at age 12 in the parcel room of the Derby railway station. There, he fell in love with trains, not with parcels. Now, train collisions were more common in these days, and he was part of the movement that helped make train travel much safer by routing them correctly. And if he had stopped there, that would have been more than enough meaningful work, more than most of us will do in our lifetime. I'll speak for myself because I just make stupid videos on the internet. But Knight wasn't done. The night of his career hadn't yet come. Instead, he took his attention to the streets. In the late 1860s, central London was full of traffic. Horse-drawn carriages, delivery carts, and pedestrians all competed for limited street space, especially near Parliament. The intersection of Bridge Street and Great George Street, which is right outside the Houses of Parliament, was a daily bottleneck. Accidents were frequent and policemen were deployed to control the junction, but the system was chaotic and inefficient. So John had an idea. What if we adapted railway signal technology for the roads? Knight proposed installing a signaling system that used semaphore arms, like those found on the railways, for daylight visibility. At night, he said they could use gas-powered red and green lamps. The lights would be manually operated by a police constable using a lever system. His invention was approved and constructed by the railway engineering firm named Saxby and Farmer. In December 1868, the world's first traffic light was installed outside the Houses of Parliament. By day, the device resembled a small mechanical signpost. Two arms rose to indicate stop and dropped for go. By night, the gas lamps took over, with red meaning stop and green meaning go. London now had its first coordinated traffic control system. And for a few weeks, it worked. Unfortunately, early gas lighting systems were prone to leaks. And on an otherwise uneventful night in early 1869, a buildup of gas inside the signal caused a violent, sudden explosion. The constable operating the light, PC John Bass, was severely injured. He was blinded and burned by this blast. While he did ultimately survive, the accident prompted immediate shutdown of the system, obviously. Public confidence in the technology evaporated, though there was nothing wrong with the idea of introducing traffic signaling. It was just... it blew up, so I get the skepticism. Unfortunately, afterwards, no city dared install another traffic light like this. The idea was tainted, and it wasn't until 1920 in the USA that electric traffic lights began to appear, far from the gas-lit ancestor in Westminster. Soon following this, Britain followed suit, and by the mid-20th century, the electric traffic light was standard worldwide. But today, John Peake Knight doesn't get the credit he deserves in the history books. It was his invention, though imperfect, that was ahead of its time, that laid the groundwork for modern urban traffic control. His concept of signaling intersections wasn't flawed, only the available technology to him was. Today there's a plaque near the original site in Westminster, but this British feat of engineering deserves much more recognition. Now this brings me to the end of this episode. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.